Family. It's a funny thing. It can be found in the most peculiar of places. A group of people united by certain convictions or a common affiliation. A clan on the same path for the same goals. Together for the ups, together for the downs. An unwavering tribe of loyal individuals that remind you that you're never alone. But with a Le Mans class win, 2 FIA World Championships, and a decade of Aston Martin racing history between them, this is no ordinary family. You rolling?
So how did we get here? Well, I think what's quite important to say is that this video was technically never supposed to see the light of day. And what I mean that is, it's not that no one was going to see it. We got approached by Jan Struve and his team to make this video more for them rather than for the world. So this was originally never intended to end up on YouTube. But when we got there and realized just what a significant moment this was, we thought this is too good not to share. Hence why we're here now doing these bits to camera, because we never really truly appreciated the gravitas of what we were about to point cameras at until that day where we got there and lined all of those cars up. We've got 2 days to shoot 7 of the most significant Aston Martins ever made. It's the first and the last time that they'll all be together at the same time. The main challenge from Jan was that he wanted all of the cars to be running all at the same time, all in the same shot. So our goal was, if we could get that happening, then we would come away with a tick. But we'd flown in the drivers, the team. Ascari was rented privately just for this shoot. And it was one of those no pressure, but you better get this right moments.
So, what do you remember about this one, Jan?
Oh, this one here was the first World Championship.
2016?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And a few more races apart from that as well.
Yes.
Yeah, it travelled the world and did many wins. There was a great World Championship win in 2016 for Nicky and Marco. I mean, it won at most circuits, this one actually. Mexico to America, Bahrain as well.
Times.
Wasn't always in this pristine condition, I can tell you that, when it came back, as you would expect. And this is probably my favourite livery actually.
Yeah.
The celebration livery on the roof here. Of the whole 2012 to 2017 season. So this was the chassis that won the GT Am Championship in 2014 with Christian driving.
Yeah.
And tell us a story about the final hour of that one.
Oh, that was a little bit sweaty. Because we went for a pit stop and the car just drove 20 meters after the pit stop, and there was only 1 hour and we were in the lead at a 24-hour race.
I think we were up by 2 laps at that point.
We were 2 laps ahead, and then suddenly the car died.
There was nothing. It went out the pit lane and just stopped. And there was complete silence in the garage at that point.
As I had a few minutes where it didn't beat. But we then, after 3 resets, got the car started up.
Right.
And Poulsen, he was shaking in the car.
We got the bar all the way back around to the pits. It went in the garage backwards.
Yeah.
We did a full recalibration of the throttle, and then we all kept our fingers crossed that it started and went out, and it was perfect for the last hour.
So that was the first Le Mans win.
Yeah.
In 14.
So that chassis has got some history on it then.
Yeah, 2 World Championships and a Le Mans win.
Numerous number of race wins and Le Mans win as well. Wow.
Still one piece.
Yeah, fantastic. Lots of memories with that one.
Yeah.
So guys, my name is Nicky Team. I am having the privilege to be an Aston Martin factory driver for many years now. So yeah, going through a lot of the history, obviously mainly in the GT areas. Emotional, my friend, with a small tear in my eyes, obviously with a smile on my face. Again, having the privilege to represent this brand. Been driving around in the world, especially with this one, means a lot. Kept in the Aston Martin green, very special one with this start of the line livery, which we continued on the next generation Vantage. But yeah, personally, obviously, big place in my heart because it's the first World Championship car that we done it with. So yeah, very emotional looking at it now because it's kept in the flesh as we left it in Bahrain.
My name is Christian Poulsen. I'm 47 years old and from Denmark. I was racing this car in 12, 13 and 14. Yeah, we have some very good history on that car, and yeah, it was the car we won, Nicky and I and David in 2014. We won the Le Mans Pro-Am and also the World Championship at that time in 14.
This is where I started my Aston Martin career. Obviously it changed a little bit with the bodywork over the years, but end of 13, 14, winning Le Mans for the first time in this car, and then continues through the years. A lot of development has gone into it, and then in 16 with a fantastic season. The whole factory just working hard on it, and in the end claiming the World Championship is obviously a very special thing.
Yeah, it's a really nice car. It's been a while since I've been driving it, almost 10 years, so it's fantastic to be able to get back in it, and yeah, I could do a race right now. So yeah, it's good memories. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's I can remember at that time the car was really great compared to the others, and we had some good fights with the other Astons. So yeah, it's a strong car, and it can take some beating and yeah, and still be fast. Yeah, of course, Le Mans, we won Le Mans in 14 in this car, and also the championship a bit later in Bahrain. So yeah, there's some good memories. I don't often think about it, but when I saw the car and when I'm back in it, then it's fantastic.
Okay, so we're at Ascari. Ascari race circuit is, you can think of it as a private race resort nestled in the mountains of southern Spain. It is perfect. It's almost 6 kilometers long, so it's a full fat track, but it's so beautiful. It's untouched. There's no sponsor boards everywhere. There's no grandstands. It feels, there are some frames where it feels like there's a racetrack through the Serengeti or something. It's just the most beautiful track. But why it's fantastic? Because it is in the middle of nowhere, there is no sound regs. So we had a straight-piped Vulcan, a de-restricted Aston Martin Vantage V12 endurance racing car, which sounded serious, and an Aston Martin Valkyrie, which basically sounds like the good old days of F1. So there was no restrictions in terms of sound. We could just rip these things all day. From a filming point of view, it's just stunning. Everywhere you point, the camera looks beautiful, the backdrops are clean, the light is stunning. And the team at Ascari were an incredible help to facilitate us to try and squeeze in the most ridiculous schedule of filming. I mean, really, if someone outlined this shoot to a production company, you would say, please, can we have 7 days for this shoot? So the fact that we've managed to pull this together is still blowing my mind.
And this one, well, this is an interesting car.
Yeah.
The last time I drove a car on a racetrack was with you.
Oh yeah.
At Le Mans in the support race.
Yeah.
And thankfully there was no scratches on
No.
it.
It's still like in one piece, and we did it also with the rain.
But of course this one did Nürburgring, didn't it? This was the Nürburgring 24 hours car. I remember it very well, and this was actually still a Nürburgring specification.
Yeah.
With the vents and the wheel arches.
Yeah, that's the coolest, what should we say, configuration of the car.
It was the final specification actually of that car before it went on to a new evolution.
And so close to the podium.
Yeah, for sure.
It just needed 2 more laps.
That was all it took, like, you know. So, but yeah, it was. I remember the rain put paid to victory on that occasion.
Yeah, still a beautiful car, and good to have fun with it on a track like this.
Fantastic, I imagine.
So when should we drive it again?
Well,
next support race.
The next support race. We need to get that organised.
Yeah.
so stuff. Again, second time, close the baby. Yeah, when I started at Aston, this was basically the one on the GT3 side, and without a doubt, the best sounding GT3 probably ever gonna be built. Again, it's like fitting like a glove, as you would say, and just really enjoying it. So yeah, obviously, as I stand here, Nürburgring was the last really go at it. We all just missed the podium, but it's been a really good car. And for me, it really fitted my driving style, so I really have good memories with this car, to be honest. Trying to figure out if we could come up with a win, but we always missed a little bit out on those big ones. But it has presented some of the best results out there, and one of the most winning GT3 cars for sure. And for Aston Martin in the history line, it's something really special, and for me as well.
I mean, Ascari is a little gem hidden in the mountains in Spain. So we're not bugging anyone. We can be out there running the cars flat out, as loud as possible, getting that true emotion of the sound. We can be running all day, and the beautiful hospitality of Ascari are happy to have us and happy to help us. And the track itself is just awesome.
So you've never had them all together at the same time?
No,
Ever?
no. So they have seen each other, but they never were all together. Some of the cars were always somewhere else, and so it's also the first time that they're completely together, and at the same time also on a track.
Okay.
So, and here one of my favorite tracks, because it's good for gentleman drivers like me to have some fun. And this one is also one of the cars I've been spinning around with here a lot of times, because it's not too complicated for an amateur to drive. And I like really all the Zagato design, so I was so happy as I got the option to buy one of the two N24 Aston Zagatos.
Yep.
This is a SAC, which were the green one, and there's a red one.
Zig.
Yeah, exactly, SIG. And that's what should we say, the first time we went out in worldwide racing. So that was the GT1 World Championship in 2010 and 2011.
What's it like jumping up to a GT1 category? Because that's serious stuff, right?
That is a big jump. we did some GT3s before, and that was a wake-up call.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you went into GT1, which is just a different ball game.
Yes, and really hard competition. Okay. Really strong teams, really strong cars, and everyone wants to win, of course. But it was a good experience. We learned it the hard way, I would say.
So by pure coincidence, we're here this week as Aston have announced that they're going to enter the World Endurance Championship in a Valkyrie. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was just like having Christmas 2 times the same year.
Right.
For me.
It's amazing.
Because they were back in time where they had the LMP1s. There was a chance to make an overall win, but they never managed in the LMP1s. But now with this one, I hope they will fulfill not their own dreams, but also all the dreams of the fans. Sure. So I really look forward to see that in 25 and cross the fingers. Get it done.
Brilliant.
Now that was pretty cool. I dreamed it before 10 years ago in Spa in Belgium, just for fun as well, like this. And this here today was like the most incredible thing I ever tried. I mean, being with these world champions. They're all world champions except me. So it's pretty cool. I feel quite privileged. We met about 15 years ago and we've been doing quite a lot. And I used to an old-time rally driver in northern Spain. We're kind of petrol heads, and we've been friends for a long time, and I've been to several events with him, and I get the privilege to drive these incredible, stunning, best cars in the world, really. And this one, it's got history, it's legendary, done Le Mans and everything like that. This circuit is just like driving on another planet, really, between the mountains and the trees, and it's just incredible scenery.
All I'm hearing is money. That's all I'm hearing. You know, to rent Ascari privately, the logistics of getting those cars there, so 7 Aston Martins from the other side of Europe, the insurance that comes with that. I mean, that DBR9, that GT1 car, that is an Aston Martin Works chassis with Le Mans racing history on it. I don't know what value that would be. We even had John Gorin, who is the motorsport CEO of ProDrive. He took his time out to come and film. Many thousands in rental per day. Okay, so you got X amount of time on track. We're also filmed it towards the end of the year, so the sunlight's not the longest. These race cars, they don't always just start. They have to go through a process. So we wanted to get all of these cars lined up. The format from an efficiency point of view was, if we line them all up, not only will they look cool, but we'll use it as our sort of checklist, and we'll work our way down and film this car, film that car. Typically, the most picturesque part of the track was the other side of the circuit, which wouldn't be a problem with normal cars, but we had to tow every single car to the line, and then once they were off the tow hook, we then had to manually maneuver every car by hand into place. You may think that sounds crazy, but that's what race cars are like. Also, they have the turning circle of a sort of oil tanker. So even if it was on and you could make it work, you'd be doing like a sort of Austin Powers style 12-point turn just to sort of change angle. So that probably took, just to get that line up, half of the first day, just to line up those cars before we rolled on anything for the main content. We've got a whole team, and I'm just thinking, sun's going down in 4 hours, so we should probably start the shoot. So we didn't start filming day one until lunchtime, which now I'd say that out loud is insane.
Okay, so there's a whole load of other cars here, Jan. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, that was the first time we went for the really nice fresh lime, and had a good start with that one. A little bit tough when you start with a new car, but you did, as always, a good job. So.
It was a tough first year, I remember well.
Yeah.
And I remember there was lots of competition at that time because there was like 7 or 8 manufacturers racing against.
Yeah.
And we did get pole position at Le Mans in the first year. Won the championship with this one through the COVID years, didn't we?
Yeah.
This was a winner in 1920,
the 1920 season.
The COVID years, yeah. And first race win this one got, I remember well, was in the wet in China. We developed that across a few years, and it turned into championship winning car as well. And there was fantastic memories of this one because there was Porsche, there was Ferrari, there was BMW, there was Corvette, everyone racing against it. It was probably actually the best racing in GTE Pro that there ever has been, and probably ever will be in reality.
Yeah.
And this was the championship winner.
Yep, we made it.
Yeah.
The big season, the super season.
And it'd be fair to say we had a few celebrations as well.
Yes.
No question about that.
I'm Marcus Sorensen, and this is basically the car that I raced in since 2018, not 17. I think that was actually still the... I'm quite sure we didn't race it since 17. Now I actually start doubting myself a bit here. Hey, I'm Marcus Sorensen, and this is the Aston Martin GTE. From my career, the best memories that I basically have. We won the last championship we won was in this current car, which comes basically fresh off the shelf with with a lot of rubber and a bit of battle scars throughout the race. What is worth talking about is probably all the memories that we've had with these cars. We call it the kind of the Dane train, and I would say for me and Nicky and also some of the other drivers, it's almost like a mentality that we've brought with us to basically all the racing tracks we went around to in the world. And we've always had fun doing what we're obviously doing. You know, it's not a bad job racing a car like this, but obviously there's some pressure with it. But we've been having fun in this pressure that we've had, and I would say that's more the thing about the Dane train, is that we've actually had fun while doing... Well, the Dane train started even before I got into Aston Martin. So it started before 2015, where I signed my first contract with them. And then after this, it kind of just carried on. So me and Nicky, pure coincidence, got on the same car in 2015. This went on to 16, where we did the proper championship in the GTE Pro. And after this, it's just stuck with us. So it's just been the Dane train ever since. And when they put me and Nicky together, it was really like, because I raced with him in karting, like when I was really, like before I was even 10 years old, so I was racing against Nicky basically in karting. So we are, how you can say connection. It's not really like just a friendship, it's more like brothers basically. When we as drivers are here, we're really like, for us it's the mentality, you know, you just want to win together. A lot of these memories that we had around the tracks are definitely it's something I'll always remember as the best times in racing.
And this car was when we met at first.
Yeah.
This was when we first met back in 2011.
Yeah.
I remember coming to the first race where I met you was out in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
In the World Championship.
Yeah.
Met the full family out there, and this was the start of really the story.
Yeah.
But this also raced at Le Mans, didn't it?
Yeah. So this has been racing several times in Le Mans and has a second and third in Le Mans.
Right.
And a lot of wins in US and all over Europe.
Yeah.
So this is chassis number 003, so has a lot of history.
And it's lovely to see it in the Gulf livery as well, I think.
Yeah.
You know, so that was
Cool
very
colour.
famous during that period.
Yeah.
Even though this one at the end was in the Gulf livery,
Yeah.
it's nice to have this one still in the
Exactly.
Gulf livery, isn't it?
Yeah.
My name is Christopher Nygaard, and the GT1 here, I will say, brings back maybe the greatest memory I have from my racing career was when I did the debut at Le Mans with this car back in 2010. Le Mans has always been my dream since I was a kid and driving go-karts, so that was a very, very special moment. To get it to roll out on that circuit, and then especially in a car like this, it was unbelievable. We did the GT1 World Championship Series with us as well. It was a big step for me to come into this car, coming from GT3 cars, not having that much experience. So the memories of this car, just a wild animal, and it's really cool to see it again. And every now and then, like, I get to drive it again, and it's just, you know, a blessing. I met Jan back when I did Polo Cup, was an up-and-coming race driver, and he was actually the one who made my career take off. Always as a racing driver, you need a little bit of backing to get started and get going. And he was into racing as well and saw potential in me and wanted to back it. And then we kind of grew up together going through the racing categories. So I was on board when he started with the GT3 team, with the Ford GTs. Then we moved on to Astons and you know, got to race in the biggest scene and get the opportunity to go to be a Aston Martin Works driver with the Works team. Saying still a really strong bond we all have here. That saying we still know each other really well, and when we come together, it's always, you know, good fun. Special with this one, saying you have this big massive wing here. It changed a little bit for the GTE at the end, so it has a little bit smaller wing than it originally had. Otherwise, you know, big splitter here at the front. This car was very much about aero when it just started out, and saying it looks a little bit different now to when it first came out. They took it down a little bit for doing the last years of the GT1 World Championship. The whole way the floor underneath is working, is special to this car. And with this car, when we were doing racing, it was very much feeling when you were behind cars in dirty air. So I remember one time at Rouge when I was following one car, And we came in, and I just had big understeer going in the corner. And as soon as the car in front of me just turned away, got grip again, and you could follow it up the hill there. So it definitely has a lot of error, and it's really affected by that.
It's absolutely amazing to drive. It's not often you get to take a Vulcan Aston Martin on a track and actually give it some beans out there. It's not often you get to do that, so it's quite a special feeling. And the car itself is it's a beast. So when you're driving out there, there's a few points where it really scares the crap out of you, basically. Just because of the power and the downforce the car has, it's definitely a proper track day car. It's just the power that probably got to me the most. Was like, oh, okay, it really continues to pull. Even when you're above 260, 270, it just kind of continues. So it's a really nice feeling.
The tracking car. So we rented this Mercedes Sprinter that was for all of the gear and the team, but we thought this can double up as a tracking car. We used to film with some fairly swift kit, like some fairly fast cars. Race cars don't even switch on at anything like what pace that this Sprinter could go. Remember us tracking the Valkyrie, and we were going as fast as we could in this van, and the Valkyrie was on the edge of stalling. It just wouldn't work. So obviously we're miles from home, and we need something fast because we're tracking full-fat race cars. The only thing that we had to hand was Evert's Bentley. So he gives us the keys to this Bentley. We suck the camera on his boot. It's a drop head, which actually works out great for tracking. And for the next day, we managed to get all of the tracking shots that you're seeing right now off the back of a soft-top Bentley. I don't think it came back with much tires at the end of the shoot, but it was our only option. What we could have done with is a GT3 with a tracking camera on the wing. That would have been perfect, but we made the most of what we've got, and physics really takes over very quickly when you're trying to set pace for a race car in a 2.5 ton Bentley.
Build up from there. Yeah. That pace generally was okay, but we need the effort to get the cars bunched and then go.
Bunched and safe.
Because we got quite separated, and we had scenes when there was 2 at the back of the track and the rest at the front. Like a starting grid.
Slightly offset.
And then when we get going, if we can do this so that it's like a shuffle, and then we should see the majority of the cars.
Yeah. Okay. So just so you know, he's going to be able to do 3 laps on fuel. So
okay.
It's fine for him to just basically come in here, we put some more fuel in, and we go.
Right.
So it's going to minimal downtime, but
he'll
be missing for maybe 1 lap.
Sure.
Yeah. And then we can join you again.
And we can try to time it so it's 1 lap
come in,
missing, so I don't have to catch up for a couple of laps. So it's like
how much fuel is in?
Were you okay for temperature?
They're fine.
Yes.
Temperature's okay.
Just showing.
Okay. If you start to see fuel used over 35, then let us know.
It was so good.
That was amazing, man. Mate, honestly, some of those scenes were just, I mean, we were losing it in the back of the car.
I could do 24 hours now.
Yeah? Let's go. We were losing it in the back of the Bentley, like, whoa! What is going on? It was so good. Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, you happy with that?
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Tell us something you got to come there.
Just absolutely wild.
So
got it in the box.
I think we did. I think we got it, man.
All the cars working fine?
Very special.
Perfect.
Yep.
Everything good?
24 hours.
I want to have something with sundowner.
Yeah.
It's like running seven race teams at the same time.
That was insane. I think last time I tried something like that was a F1 car. Actually, I'm shocked. Very shocked. You definitely don't get to use the whole the whole potential here. This is for sure. Like not even close. But yeah, it's a dream come true.
I got a bit of a headache. I genuinely there was one point, you know how aerial stuntmen, they have like a breathing technique. I forgot to breathe at one point and I left the corner with a headache.
You need those socks, man. This is
Dude,
unreal.
You need a G-suit on for this thing.
Yeah.
Look, you're sweating his head off. Unbelievable. Oh.
I'm so cramped up because of
Yeah, you like tense?
Yeah.
That's saying something coming from this guy.
Oh God.
Well, I'm not sure I'll ever go that fast in a car. Definitely not with 2 seats. Definitely not with 2 seats.
You're done. That's right.
Ej, hvor er det vildt.
Nej.
Det er godt nok vildt, det der. Hold kæft.
Good experience, huh?
The Valkyrie was a totally different ballgame. Just visceral impact and energy. Trying to capture that through audio on a screen is almost impossible. It's not until you've been inside one of these cars. There's a scene in the main edit, you'll see me take off my Betia now. The look on that face, that is not for the cameras. That is real, sheer depletion of any sort of energy. Like, that thing absolutely destroyed me. I think that's probably the best context I can give as to how extreme these cars are. It's 1,000 horsepower, it's about $4.5 million. There's 40 of them. It's got more downforce than the car weighs. It's on hot, sticky Michelin slicks. And I get in with Marco Sorensen, who is one of the leading endurance racing drivers out there. And we are up to pace fast. Like, there's barely any warm up, we're going out hard. And on the steering wheel of Valkyrie, there's several different maps. I think it does go from 1 to 6. And at every turn of that dial, you get more horsepower, right? So every click, more horsepower, more horsepower. And it starts off incremental, and then you get up to around about 4, and it starts to get mildly unhinged. After 4, up to 5, up to 6, it's in another world of just atmospheric ridiculousness. And so we're out on our first lap. We get to the end of the first lap. Marco goes, this feels cool. 6, all full 1,000 horsepower. We come along this start-finish straight, and we are heading for what is effectively turn 1, or kind of chicane 1. And I don't know what happened. All physics took over, I don't know. We're at the end of a very long few days filming, and we're braking, and we turn in, and all of a sudden the back gets light. I mean, I'm speaking to Marco after it. he was saying the characteristics of the aero are very nose heavy, so it's all on that front nose, and I think the rear of the car snapped a bit light. I mean, Marco being a great driver, rather than trying to overcorrect it while we had pit walls either side of us, he just goes, let's straighten this up and try and break it. The next thing we know, we are landscaping part of Ascari. The front carbon splitter of this thing just goes straight over the curbs, grass and crap everywhere. I'm in the car just like looking at my eyes going, this is it, this is the way I go. Which, if I'm gonna go anyway, this is a blaze of thunder. Straight over this grass, we clip it before I even knew it. Marco just shakes his head as if nothing has happened, and off we go again, 4 more laps. I'm dying inside, absolutely insane. That car as well, there are no words. There really isn't anything I can say. 2 phenomenal bits of context during that shoot. One, me taking off my skid lid, and you can see I'm just destroyed. The other was when we had a chat with Marco afterwards. This wasn't for the camera either. I just said, look, you guys have raced some serious stuff. Is there anything that you can benchmark here? And he was saying LMP2 doesn't come close. It's kind of around about LMP1-ish, but with more horsepower. Marco said he tested Formula 1 in a 2019 car, and he said the Valkyrie was a more intimidating driving experience. So that sort of sets some context as to how absolutely insane that car was. If we get 10% through the screen as to what that thing is like, we've done an okay job.
What does that benchmark anything? Because I genuinely stepped out of there completely.
Well, I've tested the 2020 or 2019 F1 car, and that was for sure also like a big kick and everything. But I was almost more scared than this one because the power and just the way it was driving was like so intense. Like I've never tried anything like this crazy, and the way it just continues to accelerate.
The pull is relentless. Like it just doesn't drop off.
Exactly. Nice to see everyone together again and smiling and just having fun. It brings you back to the old days, really. We have our mechanics, and we take care of the cars. We strip them down, make sure everything is looking okay and ready to go full speed. So when the drivers get here, they don't have to have any worries or anything. Try to get the cars prepped as much beforehand as possible, so when it gets here, it should be just smooth sailing. It was slightly smooth, a few bumps on the road, but it was okay. And when they're here, we just get them fired up, fueled up, and get them on track.
It's like we have always been together, and that is also what we expired for 10 years ago. You know, we just found out the chemistry is working, and we just kept on going and got the job done, which was to win Le Mans and the World Championships, and now we are here again and smiling and thinking about all the nice memories we have together. Really proud of them, and I'm also proud that they are doing so good in the races they are and the teams they are driving in. So yeah, it's a big pleasure for me to see that they got good away. It's amazing. It's a dream coming true. Because I said that the whole time I want to put this so when I'm not capable anymore, at least I can look at this and say, oh, that was a good day, you know, and have a laugh and maybe still capable to drink a drink with the boys and have some fun and tell all the old stories. So for me it was brilliant.
So what is it to race? The cliche answer might be the thrill of speed or a test of human skill, but the overriding outcome is actually people. It's a team. I mean, just how far can you go on your own? You're only really as good as the people around you, both on and off the track. And that's what I think racing's all about. Human endeavour together.